Hi everyone, it's Sarah Boble at Right Start Reading, and today I'm going to talk to you about comprehension. One of the biggest concerns that both teachers and parents have about their students or their child is their ability to comprehend text. And if we think about it, this is really the whole goal of the reading process, right? As teachers, we don't teach phonics or phonemic awareness just to teach it. We teach it with the goal that students can accurately and adequately understand the text. And oftentimes, as students get older, reading becomes more challenging for them, even if they've never had problems previously. Because once students reach that third or fourth grade reading level, the text that they're expected to read becomes much more complex. They're now expected to read things like textbooks. And if before they were using memorization strategies to read words, they're going to find that those strategies no longer work for them, because the human brain can only hold so many words at a time before it becomes overwhelmed. So what can you do to help your child tackle these more complex texts and build up those comprehension skills? Well, of course, you could do your Google research. You could buy a comprehension workbook that requires your child to read a passage and then answer some comprehension questions. But really, these aren't likely to do a whole lot for your child long term. What really needs to happen is for your child to develop thinking strategies while reading that allow them to interact with the text and think much deeper than surface level. Sometimes teachers might refer to this type of reading as close reading. And there are 4 very effective strategies that you can try out today to engage in this type of reading with your child. Sometimes these strategies are referred to as the Fab Four because they're very effective. And these strategies are predicting, clarifying, questioning, and summarizing. And I do plan to go into more details on each of these strategies in future videos. But for today, I'm only going to briefly discuss each one and how you can use it with your child. So, number 1, the first strategy is actually used before reading the text itself. This strategy is predicting. So to do this, you would work with your child to preview a piece of text or a story and think about why the author might have written it, the author's purpose. You might discuss potential themes or messages that come across or how the text is organized. So you could ask, is the text fiction or nonfiction? How do you know? How did the author set this text up? If it is nonfiction, are they comparing two things? Are they describing a process? And so on. And this helps them to set their brains up for understanding the text in the way that it's organized. The next strategy you can use is called clarifying. This involves reading through the text and then really paying attention to any words or phrases that seem confusing or stick out to you. And you as the parent can model this first by reading maybe a few sentences or an entire paragraph and picking out a less common word or phrase, and then explaining why you wanted to clarify that word and what you think you understand about it. And it's really important that you encourage the discussion between you and your child too. So you could have a set of Post-it notes or highlighters available for this and just really talk about the different words. Make sure they have a good understanding of what those words mean before going on. The third strategy is questioning. And this strategy is also very powerful because it actively encourages a deeper thought and interaction with the text. And this is something that can be done before you actually read, but it can also be done as you read, and it can also be done after rereading the text as well. So you can do it all throughout. Again, you can, as the parent, model this yourself by reading a paragraph or two out loud, stating any questions that came to mind, and then also model how you could use the text to answer the question that you came up with. So it's called providing evidence, and providing evidence from the text is a skill that your child is going to be asked to do often in school and on state tests. So the more they practice that, the better. The final strategy is summarization, and it's usually completed after an additional rereading of the text. Rereading more than once is another component of close reading. So by this time, your students or your child may have read the text 2 to 3 times. However, you don't have to do that much rereading every single time, and you don't have to wait till after you've reread the text to do a summarization strategy. regardless of how many times you read, using these strategies consistently is going to increase your child's comprehension. But with summarization, the students will read the text or read it twice and then just discuss the most important parts. If your child needs help with this, because it is a more complex, demanding skill, you can provide sentence stems. So you could provide a sentence stem like, this text was about blank, I learned blank, or I know this is important because blank. Or you could also provide a traditional like first, next, then last organizer. Or they could write about their favorite parts. But summarizing is one of the most, if not the most important strategy of them all, because it involves synthesizing everything they've just read and then determining what to include and what to leave out, which is definitely a much higher order thinking process. And so just a final reminder here that the more you participate in reading with your child and model your thinking and how you question and find answers as you read is going to help illuminate this process for your child and help them to kind of see how it all works. You are the proficient reader, and they can learn so much from you by watching you do this. And those discussions that you have and the talk you have about the story or the text is also going to be huge in the development of your child's reading comprehension. So I encourage you to continue to have those discussions and talk as much as you can about what it is that you're reading together. Okay, so I hope you found this video useful as a guide for how you can encourage comprehension in your child. And I do plan to add more videos that go into more depth about each of the 4 strategies that I mentioned here. But if you need a reminder of what these strategies are, you can look in the comments. I listed them in the comments there. If you liked this video, you can click subscribe. And if you would like more information, you can visit me at www.rightstartreading.com. I look forward to hearing from you.